we got Miami Lightning, or Preston Lastchuck on the drums. We got Sweet Baby Ray Klapchuk on the lead guitar. We got Remington, Dane Von Hagen on lead vocals, frontman. Then we got Buck, who he plays slide guitar and rhythm guitar. And then I play Izzy Licks. I play bass and do backup vocals.
What's up, everyone? Mark and Joel here with the Sit Down Podcast.
Hello.
We had Dead Levee, what would you describe him as? Old school rock and roll, prairie rock and roll.
Prairie rock is what I was thinking.
Yeah, prairie rock and roll rock band.
Prairie rock and roll rock band.
Prairie rock band from Regina, Saskatchewan.
Nice. Yeah, we had a couple guys from there join us this evening. Those guys are fucking awesome. They made me like, so you know how we partied at Moose Fest the other weekend?
Yep.
They made me want to go out and do that like right now.
They would fit in right.
Oh, dude, they would have loved it. Yeah. So we didn't even. Yeah, we'll get them out next year maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely told some. They definitely told some good stories about touring. They had a good story about weapons in there. And what was the name of their van?
Stinky Senior
Stinky or something.
Stinky
that's actually a pretty funny story. And then talking about like recording and releasing some new music here coming up right away. And they listed some tour dates, some gig dates coming up.
The festivals that they've done. Yeah.
So you guys check that out. But know that this episode, check it out. We got some cans on Elon here this week, like we said we would.
Yeah.
So if you guys go to M3 is 3D and use the promo code at checkout Moose to get 10% off. These are 3D printed. You can get like, there's all kinds of different heads. Just basically throw your headphones on there. So hit those guys up. And also
there is our Northern Royals record that is out now. We got some signed copies. We got some bundles going on. We got some regular ones. So check out funkymooserecords.ca. You can buy them there.
I'll see if I can put a picture of them right here on the screen somewheres, or maybe I'll cut us out and put a picture of the bundles there. But yeah, go to funkymooserecords.ca and place an order on that EP record. Yeah. Those guys kick so much ass.
Yeah. So with that,
enjoy the show.
I'm Taylor Morgan, also known as Izzy Licks from the band Dead Levee, and we are sitting down at the Sit Down. I might have to do this all over again here.
Yeah, you got this.
Yeah, episode 78. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm Izzy Licks from the band Dead Levee, and you're checking out the Sit Down, episode 78.
And I'm Buck with Dead Levee as well.
Hey, I'm Mark.
I'm Joel.
These episodes of the Sit Down Podcast are brought to you by Funky Moose Records.
Subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment below, and ring the bell, because it really helps us out, you guys.
And check out funkymooserecords.ca for all your used and new records, and accessories.
And merch. Still doing all that HelloFresh?
once in a while, yeah.
You didn't ask them for a sponsor yet?
No.
What are you waiting for?
You were going to do it.
No, for like, I got all that conversation saying that you'll do it. And every time I check to see if you've done it yet, you say, no, I haven't done it yet. So get your ass and do it.
Fellas, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
How's it going, boys?
Good. You?
Good, good.
Very good.
So your name is?
I'm Taylor, or also known as Izzy. And joining us as well will be Rylan, also known as Buck. He plays a slide guitar. I play bass guitar and do backup vocals.
Hell yeah.
Izzy and Buck.
Izzy and Buck.
Okay.
So right now we're actually live on Twitch right now.
Oh,
We're trying something a little different. This is the first time that we do it.
Okay.
So nobody's watching on Twitch right now. We have 0 following on Twitch at the moment.
So that'll probably stay like that.
Yeah, for the whole episode. So the plan is like what we're trying to do is we're gonna start going live on Twitch as we record these episodes, so that like people can see like the behind the scenes shit of us setting up and that kind of thing, right? So I'm not really gonna be engaging if anybody's chatting, but I can still see. And then for the rest of this week, like I'll still edit it, and this episode will go up next week as per usual. So that's all we're doing with Twitch.
That sounds groovy, man.
Okay, right on.
Don't spill your drink on
My computer. I should maybe move that, right?
Yeah, probably a good idea. Knowing you. Okay,
Horror
I gotta go.
stories, man. I've heard horror stories about that shit.
Oh, dude, I did it like a couple weeks ago. I spilled some freaking liquid death on all over the table.
And on our Moose Fest poster.
That's right. We should take that down, actually.
Yeah, we didn't even get signed.
It doesn't matter.
No worries.
They stayed in
Okay.
their house.
How did that turn out? How did that turn out? Who was all there?
So kick ass,
That
bro.
was
So
awesome.
good. We had 7 Mile Sun opened, and then we had Kit from the singer from Cadillac did an acoustic set, and then we had League of Wolves, and then Kit went back up and did an acoustic set, and then we closed it with the Steadies.
Yeah,
No,
that was
that's a pretty solid lineup there, boys.
It was so much fun, man. The music
That's
started at 7:30. 7:30. It kicked off, and it was like, I want to say nonstop music till like almost 1 a.m. But I mean, there was like little lulls that will work those kinks out for next year, right?
Yeah, of course,
But-
of course.
Oh, dude, it was so.
This was the first one you guys done,
Yeah, for sure.
and man, like you can't expect a grand slam on the first one.
Oh, but it was. It was at
That's
least a triple. It was at least a triple, if not a grand
That's
slam.
beautiful, man. I'm so happy for you guys.
Yeah, dude. It was so much fun. And we already, cheers. We've got next year already starting to plan, bro.
That's sick. Well, keep us in the loop. I know that we love playing any kind of festivals that are close to home. It's always nice to get all the family and friends out and all of especially the crazy friends, right? Everybody's got the crazy group of friends. And it's like when you're playing in somewhere like Edmonton or Winnipeg or, something like that, it's like, you only have a certain amount of fans out
Right.
there. You don't really get the hectic shows that you get at home necessarily.
Right. Well, so there was we didn't sell out. It wasn't a sold out crowd, but there was about 160, 170 people there. If we would have sold out, it would have been 250, but we had it like 160, 170. And I shit you not, there was maybe like 12 people from Bellevue there. The rest, we had people from Regina, we had people from Waka Lake, Saskatoon, north of Prince Albert. Like, it was just wild, man. People who had no clue where Bellevue was were out here celebrating, and like everybody in town was at home. It was crazy. So much fun.
That's awesome, boys.
I gotta say hi or a shout out from Dale. I was talking to Dale from Exomerda today. And
Yes.
he was telling me you guys have a show September 11th, right?
11th. Yes. So I went ahead and tried to book the Banjo Bowl, which is like when the Saskatchewan Roughriders play the Blue Bombers, right? In Winnipeg. I'm actually from Carmen, Manitoba, which is like about 45 minutes from Winnipeg. So I grew up a Bombers fan, and so like. But I've lived in Saskatchewan for 6-7 years now, so it's like I've obviously got a respect for them. But so I try to plan it around that, and of course the Northern Royals we played a couple shows with, and they're a rock and roll group, man. We love those group of
Freaking
people,
rights.
man.
We're heading up there this weekend. We're going to Winnipeg on Friday for the weekend, and we're gonna hang out with X and Northern.
Oh, no
And
way. That's
hell
sick.
yeah, man, on Saturday. And we're gonna do an episode, and yeah, it's gonna be a fun weekend. I've been trying to get them. I'm like, I called Evan yesterday. I'm like, dude, let's go to the Peelers. And he's got like zero interest in that.
Oh,
at
really?
all. Yeah, he doesn't want to go at all. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, like that's the thing that's one downfall in Saskatchewan is there's no peelers, man. It's
Right.
You
So
know,
it's so appealing to me, but yet people there are like, nah,
Appealing.
appealing.
on one tour we went to Montreal twice and we went to the peelers both times. We had to, man.
Right. I
There was
know,
no
man.
way we were missing out. No way.
Oh, dude, I
Apparently
want
Montreal has the best feeling.
to. I don't.
They
I
know
don't
what they're
doubt it.
doing. They
I
know what
don't
they're
doubt it.
doing.
I've never been there, but
Last time I was at a peeler it was either like Sylvan Lake or Red Deer or some shit, like 15, 20 years ago. And I barely remember it. I remember like getting a lot of autograph posters and stuff and throwing loonies and doing all those kind of games and shit. I had a stack. And then I blacked out and I got tossed out of there by the bouncers and they took everything and like it was bad. That was like the last time I ever it wasn't a good night, dude.
The first the first time we were in Montreal, like there was like fire breathing, sword swallowing, like it was intense, and it was like a Wednesday. It's like,
Imagine
do you
a
guys really
Saturday.
go this hard all the time? And I guess they do. Like, and I mean, it was just like the thickest snowflakes possible going through there because we were on tour just before COVID hit. We were on tour from January 30th till March 12th. Like, just went all the way out to Prince Edward Island and back during February, and everybody said we were fucking nuts for doing it. But in the end, we were laughing because we got one of the last tours in, right?
Yeah. Well, hell yeah, man.
Yeah. It was.
Right.
It
What
was
else? Dale was telling me, I don't know if I can leave this in or not. I'll have to ask.
it is live, remember.
Yeah, that's true, but nobody's watching right now. Dale was telling me that he didn't say which one, but apparently there's a strip club in Winnipeg. And pre-COVID, Dale and Scott on Sunday afternoons would go and do an acoustic set on the stage from like 12 till 4. And he said at 4 o'clock, like the strippers topless were helping them like take the equipment down and stuff. But he didn't tell me which one it was.
That's
I'm like,
beautiful.
that's where I want to go, dude.
That's
the one.
beautiful.
Right?
Yeah, no, I'm sure that they've changed the name of the strip club at least 2-3 times since I've been in Winnipeg, but yeah, I believe it, man. Those guys are rock and roll. Like I said, like they're one of the few bands, or there's a fair amount of bands, but one of the few bands around Canada that we've played with that are just like, all right, these guys are down for the after parties. These guys are down for making rock and roll music.
Freaking
Yeah,
right.
so I do not doubt for a second that they went and did acoustic sets at a strip club in Winnipeg. Yeah, those boys are hectic.
Did you tell them about the after party?
No, I just was saying that the last song was kind of. What time was the last song? Was it quarter after 12?
Quarter after 12,
1?
yeah. Quarter after 12.
Quarter after 12.
Because I was talking to Jesse and I was like, dude, I thought you were playing maybe just over an hour or so. He was like, well, what time is it? I was like, 20 after 12. Holy shit, we played for 2 hours? So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Man, I was like, I'll be honest, I didn't even, not that I didn't get to enjoy the show, but I just felt like I was running around a lot. You know what I mean? I was making sure that this was going good and this and this.
yeah, same here.
Bringing water backstage and shit like that. So I
Talking
didn't
to
really get to
people.
sit down and watch anything.
Talking to people, talking to press,
Yeah,
whatever.
just thanking everybody for coming and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, the show's over. Bars calls last call, and people start clearing out. Well, we have the bright idea to let's go party in the green room. So we did that till like 4:30 in the morning, as you do.
Yeah.
And then freaking, we kind of like, it was getting pretty wild. So we left the hall. I think it was like 4:30 when everyone cleared out of the hall. Some people came to Mark's, some people came to my place, and then we partied till like 6 in the morning. And then we were up at 9 for breakfast.
Right.
And, fuck, it was just crazy.
You might have to apologize to your back neighbors.
Not at all. They don't say sorry to me when they do it.
No, they're not up till 6 in the morning.
Wow, yeah, but they do it more frequently.
No,
It's
The other neighbor.
it's not happening. I am not apologetic for that night at all. So if they don't like it, they should have been there.
I don't think it was
Never
a complaint. It
say
was more
sorry
like
for
a comment.
partying. Never apologize for partying ever.
Yeah,
no.
right? For
I'm-
sure.
Unless it's I'm sorry you couldn't be there.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. I'm sorry that they didn't come and party with us.
I'm sorry you missed out on all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, dude, here's a funny story too. So we wake up at 9, and then we have a cup of coffee, whatever, and kind of get our shit together. And Mark's wife is making breakfast here, so I was like, okay, well, let's pile up and let's go there for brunch or whatever. So we start driving away. I got a box full of like a few the band members and stuff, and I start leaving my house. Mark's only a few blocks from my place, but the restaurant's across the street from my house. And we take off, and everyone's like, well, where's Dave? Anybody see Dave? And then all of a sudden, as I'm driving away, Dave's sitting on the park bench at the restaurant, charging his phone, like just all by himself. I have no idea how many hours he was there for or what. We just randomly picked him up and then brought him for breakfast. It was just funny.
I thought that was on your way home.
No, that was on the way to your house when we got,
okay.
I guess he
All right.
slept in his truck that night. And oh, dude, so much fun. It's so wild.
Oh, that's funny as hell.
Yeah, good times for sure.
It has there we go. That was just good. Look at that wavelength timing right there. I was just gonna ask.
I wonder if Buck will be here.
Yes.
Sorry, fellas.
You bastard.
It's a little late. My apologies.
okay.
It's all good, brother. It's all good. I should tell you that we are actually live on Twitch right now too, just so you know.
And we have 0 followers or watchers.
And nobody's watching,
don't
so
worry
we're
about
still okay.
Right on.
We're trying something new.
No pressure at all.
Okay, good. For
No
a second,
pressure.
he had me worried.
Yeah, so we can still like say some shit that I can cut out, but if anyone's watching on Twitch right now, I guess it is what it is.
They'll hear it. For real.
So Buck, is it possible for you to turn your phone sideways so we have a white?
Oh, yes, of course, of course. That work better? Something like that?
Unlock this.
Oh, see?
That's a guy who hasn't been watching porn recently.
No hub today, boys. Sorry. That was gonna be a before bed thing.
Well, now you got it unlocked. You're ready, unlocked and ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm doing right after this.
Yep.
Oh man.
So tell us more about you guys then. Like
Yeah, fill us in.
fill us in a little bit.
Hi, I'm Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah, that's about his personality too. Very like drawl. But yeah, very thumbs down. So yeah, no, dude, we started the show actually pre-COVID. It was just Mark and I. We've been friends for over a decade, and we're always talking about music all the time, right?
Yeah.
So
I run Funky Moose Records, an online record store, and I always had in the back of my head that I wanted to start a podcast, which I did in 2016, which went okay, but it was just too much work to edit episodes and whatever. And Joel wanted to be famous, so I said, why don't we do something together?
I am famous, bro.
We do
in my head.
We do a podcast, and he's the handsome one apparently, and then talk about music.
Yeah, so yeah, we're always talking about music, and I love watching. I'm in the podcasts that I watch are like a lot of comedians, right? Like I'm watching Joe Rogan, YMH, Bill Burr, Bert Kreischer, Andrew Santino, like all that kind of stuff. Basically,
the boys of the podcast comedy kind of.
Hell yeah, man! I'm in that little
Joey
world.
Diaz.
Right? Yeah, exactly, bro.
Yeah.
So, and I'm always like trying to get Mark into these shows that he's not interested at all. But essentially it was like, well, fuck, we can do that too, man. Let's just put on a camera and we'll talk about music. Like let's start there and see what happens. So the first like couple months of it's ridiculous. It's Mark and I sitting there with our laptops, just basically reading music news of the week. Like it's terrible.
And we did zero.
Don't go back and watch any of them.
Zero research.
Yeah.
We just see the headline and we give our opinion on the headline.
Like
which
15 minutes before we press record, we're like looking through Google on what's coming up on the news and stuff. It's stupid.
So if someone has that idea, it's a terrible idea. Don't do it.
Yeah, but it did end up getting us to where we're at today.
Yeah.
So, people knew what we were doing, and then just through contacts and stuff, it was like asking them, hey, like, do you want to come on our show and talk about music or talk about whatever? And through that, we've just kind of built a little Rolodex of contacts in the music industry.
You like that word, huh?
I do. Am I saying it right? Is it Rolodex or Rolodox?
No, it's
Rolodex.
Rolodex. It's for sure is Rolodex.
Yeah,
I stand by that. I've seen enough 90s and 80s movies to say it's confidently say it's Rolodex.
Oh yeah.
I accidentally dropped that word one day and kind of stuck with both of us.
Yeah, it's a good one because now we're building a Rolodex for Moose Fest 2.0 for next year.
Yeah.
So we're
Bam,
working
just
on
like that.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so that's basically how this happened. And I think the timing of it was right. Because like I said, it was just before COVID struck. There was fuck all else to do. So we just kept doing it, right? And it was easy to get musicians on because nobody was doing anything.
Everybody's sitting on their asses, fucking waiting for somebody to say something to them to get them, get them to talk about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Hell
so
yeah.
that's kind of how this started. And then it's like to help promote the business, the online record store. So we're kind of, we'll do a plug here and there for that. But yeah.
That's beautiful, boys. I love that.
Right on. That's great.
Yeah,
That's just like anything in the entertainment industry, though. You got to start off with some shit that you're not going to necessarily be proud of later on. But,
right?
like, I mean, you got to start somewhere. Like, I mean, I know all of us as individual musicians started out in cover bands. You know what I mean? Like, that's where you hold your craft.
Dead Levee was basically a fucking, like, cabaret rodeo cover band. Like, it was damn near country, fuck's sakes, because that's what they wanted to hear. Like,
right.
So, like, can we move on?
Yeah.
Well, what's nice about, I mean, this is kind of a double-edged sword, I guess, on the matter. But like, what's awesome about it is Mark and I, we can decide who we want on, when we're gonna do it, all that shit, right? We're not really answering to anybody. Now, but what the shitty thing about that is that we don't have very many followers because of it. So we're still trying to build that audience still. But you know what, man? Like I said, we've made awesome connections in it, and we keep growing every week. It's bigger, it's better, and yeah,
absolutely,
you know how it is, man.
That's what it's all about. Is just reaching out. Like, I mean, our co-manager, if you will, we got two managers, Leon Harrison, who is also the lead singer of the band The Lazies. I know The
Lazies.
It was just a matter of reaching out to him, and we did a Zoom meeting kind of like this just for him to pick up on what the fuck we were about, and he was all for it, and he's kind of got us pretty much where we are today, which is we got to work with on the newest record. I'll talk about it a little bit here. The newest record, we got to have Garth Richardson as our executive producer, who did the first Rage Against the Machine record, who did the first Nickelback record. He's done a bunch of Alice Cooper.
Red Hot Chili Peppers' Mother's Milk is another notable one. Another one of his really big ones was the Mudvayne LD50. That was like the one with like Dig on it.
And so he's just got like all of these gold and platinum, double platinum records on the fucking wall. And meanwhile, we're just drinking Caribbean rum and Coronas like style. And it was just cool as hell, because it's like it all started out just from reaching out to this Australian bastard we call our uncle now.
He, like, T there, like, basically slid into Leon's DMs. Like, that's what happened, because this social butterfly slid in was just sliding into people's DMs. Some girls, some musicians.
Yeah,
and one of them happened to pan out.
Hell yeah, man. That's a lot of how we've made our bookings for this show too. It's like through Twitter and Instagram and stuff. And it's just like, for example, we had Theory of a Dead Man on a few weeks ago, and it was funny how I got them. So I follow them on Instagram, right? Or Tyler anyway. And they have their own podcast, Band Meeting Podcast, essentially doing the same thing we're doing, but with like bigger bands, right?
He was
Instead of, like,
he's got a bit of a bigger resume.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
exactly, right?
Than all of us.
Yeah. So I saw on his Instagram, he was just like, hey, if you have any questions for us on the podcast, just like shoot a little 15-second video and, you know, maybe we'll air your question or whatever. So then I took to that right away. And my question was in relation to Weapons out of Saskatoon, because they toured with Theory pre-COVID.
We got a
So
story for you after this too. Yeah.
Sweet. So then I just threw that
those
in.
are buddies of ours.
Yeah. So I was just like, so can you tell us, like, would you guys come on my podcast and tell us the story about you calling them W3A pawns? Was essentially all I did. And they accepted. So I was just like, holy shit, bro. Like, we just booked Theory of a Dead Man. So that was kind of cool how that happened. It's just, like you said, ask and you shall receive, right? Just,
Well, that's exactly it. The universe works in wonderful, wonderful ways. Sometimes not so wonderful. But the thing is, I'm a firm believer in the law of attraction. If you really put that work in and put it out to the universe, that's just going to come right back.
hell yeah. So shout out to Tyler and Dave there from Theory of a Dead Man. We
Yes, of
appreciate you
course.
guys for sure.
Yeah. And that's how we
I'll go ahead.
that's how we put Moose Fest together too. Like, Earl reached out to us saying, we have August 7th available as the Steadies. Do you want to book us for this music festival that you guys keep talking about?
Yeah, you guys got dibs if you want us for August 7th. So it was like, well, let me, you know, see what I can stir up and I'll get back to you. Within 2 days, man, that was like Friday night at 9 p.m. Earl reached out. And by Sunday at 6 p.m., we had the venue booked. We had the booze and the food outsourced, and we had 3 bands locked in. It was because, like, we had been talking about it for so long. It was just like, holy shit, like, we can do this. Let's do it. Bang, bang, bang.
Throw it together.
Got her done.
That's awesome. Yeah. So the story I was going to mention about Weapon and Tyler is, so we were on our East Coast tour, like I mentioned earlier, and that was exactly when Weapons went on the tour with Theory. And so we're in Halifax. Weapons just pull up into Halifax, and we're playing just some grungy bar, and they're and they decided they're gonna show up, and they show up right at the end of our set and everything like that. And we're like, all right, boys, we're gonna go drop all of our shit off at the hotel, and we're gonna walk down Main Street, and we're gonna go to a bar. And we go to a bar called Sniggly Wiggly's. And don't you say it. We got an inside joke where Deuce always calls it Snuggly Wugglies, but anyway, so it's Bubbles bar that he owns and runs in
like Mike Smith from Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. All right.
Yeah. So we go in there with Weapons, everything like that, and this is just after our show, so we're still wearing all of our get up and everything like that, and we go in and we're partying it up, having shots and everything like that. Great time with Mick and Jordan, and so, you know, we're getting all drunk, and the house band's playing a bunch of covers, and the one guy comes up after their set and is like, hey, do you guys want to play a couple songs? You guys look like a rock band. And we're like, yes. Meanwhile, the drummer's looking at me like, no fucking way, man. I'm like, dude, there are 120 more people here than were at our show. We're playing at least 2 songs. Like, so we go play our songs, and we have more drinks and so on and so forth. And
hold on, T. Hold on. I'm gonna interrupt you before we get to before the set. So it's decided that we're going on. Like, we're gonna go do a couple basic songs, or a couple fun things with them. And this is about like 2 to 5 minutes before we're supposed to go on. And our lead singer Dane was kind of messed around with this girl, like, and that he's known and stuff before. And her brother was around, and, you know, was already before getting kind of stressed out, didn't really like the whole Dane and his sister thing, you know how that kind of goes. And then so it's me and Preston. I'm sitting across the bar with Preston, just having a pint, kind of getting ready to go on. Like, we're probably a little too loose to even be going on stage. We're kind of saying fuck it. And I look across the bar, and the brother has Dane up against like this fence by the bathrooms. So then I hand my beer to Preston, like, hold this, and I beeline across the bar. And then I go, and because he's got my boy, I start strangling the brother. I got the brother in 2 hands, like, strangling him. And
the brother got kicked out too. That was hilarious.
well, like and I was gonna start throwing, you know, like fuck that, man, you don't touch my boy. And Dane actually grabbed my hands and stopped, like kind of held me in place so I couldn't throw. And then like 5 seconds later, bouncers roll through and are grabbing everyone, like pulling everyone apart and shit. And there was actually a couple like local boys saw this, and they were like kind of the bouncers were trying to figure out who to throw, who was instigating what.
Right.
And these local boys cover for us. Like, no, these guys were good. Like that guy attacked him. And so they dragged his brother out, and I think they beat the shit out of him, and he ended up in cells and stuff. And,
Wow.
And then basically my shirt's all ripped, and you know, from getting into a bit of a thrashing. And basically we walk away from the bouncers directly on stage.
That's fucking deadly. Shirt all ripped up, and then you go play 2 songs on the stage.
That's rock and roll.
Yeah, and so
Yes.
we go back to the hotel after we're done partying, everything like that. We're like, yeah, Jordan, Mick, you guys can come to the after party and everything like that. And so they come along. We're having a couple of drinks, and you know the boys have a couple too many, and and you know like Mick ends up passing out in the same bed as you know Dane and Ray and Preston. And the next day we wake up and we're about to head out. Ray is more sick and hungover than he's ever been on tour. And we have all of our bass, like my bass case, all the gear, everything like that, like just all inside the hotel lobby. And in walks Tyler, and Ray couldn't lift his head if he tried. And I'm like, hey man, like how's it going? How's the tour going? Everything like that. And he's like, oh good, we just rolled up. Where you guys from? Where you guys tour and all that stuff. And we're touring all about Charlottetown and we're from Regina. And they're like, oh, well, we're touring with Weapons. But like, oh yeah, I know, you know Weapons pretty good. We got
they slept in our room last night.
Sorry we got your openers a bit too wasted last night, boys. And anyway, so he's like, well, you boys keep on with your tour and everything like that. Meanwhile, the van pulls up, and I don't know if you guys seen our van, but it's a 1989 Ford Econoline, and it's dolled up. I mean, I might be able to show you through the window here in a little bit here, but
Sweet.
It's got like graffiti all over it, and kind of like hippy dippy flowers and shit like that. It's just essentially a moving billboard, if you will. And this thing rolls up, and it's just, you know, February, so it's just smoking out the exhaust. Just look, you can just smell the fucking thing from inside the hotel lobby. And he's like, is that what you guys are rolling in? And we're like, yep, that we got about 10,000 more miles to put on with that thing. And he's like, well, shit, boys. I wish I was still doing that. Like I wish I was still touring in a van like that. And I'm like, man, like I'll trade you any day.
Yeah,
man. Take the
bro, you
van.
can freeze your feet in the back, man. Like on that tour, when you're in the back of the van, you have to take off your boots and have a fucking sleeping bag over you, otherwise you froze your feet. But
you also shed the back. You also shed the back with a monitor and like 2 guitar cases.
Another fun quip about that night with the Weapons, Mick got pretty rowdy. And well, I believe him and I were wrestling at one point, but that's neither here nor there. But like so we wake up in the morning and we kind of always had an inside joke that Dead Levee doesn't puke, or we handle our fucking puke. And there's a bunch of puke in the sink. And Mick discovers it. He turns on us like, and he knew damn well who puked. And he looked at us like, well, who puked, you guys? I'm like, fuck you, Mick, man. You
butter
puked.
chicken. It's butter chicken. Like we can't afford curry chicken, man.
Yeah, man. You're on the butter chicken tour, mate. Like I had fucking Tim's. Like it wasn't me.
Tim's and a can of beans, bud.
So yeah, we've always made fun of Mick for that.
But oh man,
That's
those are some good boys though. We like those boys.
Oh, yeah. Great boys.
Oh yeah, man. They are good shit for sure. Well, actually, I've got tickets to go see them. I want to say it's September 1st.
September 1st, yeah.
Yeah, in Prince Albert at the Rawlinson. They're doing like a drive-in type show. I'm pretty fired up about it. I've had my tickets for that for quite some time now.
Yep.
Since
That's rad.
beginning of summer.
Me too.
Oh yeah.
Who are they playing with?
I couldn't even tell you, man.
No one.
It seems like
It's
there's a few days. I think that's like that whole week. Every night there's like a different lineup.
Yeah, they have a drive-in series. So every day, I think it's a few days a week, they have a different act coming through, and it ranges from country bluegrass to weapons. You know, and everything in between. And everything in between.
It's a bit of a dog's breakfast, so to speak.
Yeah. I think one of those nights, I want to say Chris Henderson is playing one of those nights too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Megan Nash played.
Megan Nash, yeah, she's a little bit of a local legend here in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Didn't we play with Chris Henderson one time, or am I thinking of someone else, T?
I think
Is that Estevan? Isn't that Chris Henderson we played with in Estevan?
Yeah, we played with Chris Henderson at a slow pitch tournament for Mr. Mike's steakhouse event.
A random ass event.
And yeah, no, he's such a nice guy, man. Like,
agreed, man.
Yeah.
He's good shit too.
We had him on the show.
Pays attention, right? Like pays attention to all the other artist shows, everything like that. So you gotta respect a guy who's, you know, a little bit older and not like a lot older or anything like that, but like a little bit older and like, you know, actually takes time to look at the younger bands that are going before him or even after him at that, you know.
I wonder if that has anything to do with him being a teacher.
Yeah.
Like being that observant.
I didn't know that.
I remember him telling me that after a couple Jaeger bombs.
Yeah, it's got to be, right? Because I mean, if you're dealing with kids all the time, you're pretty observant of what they're doing and everything. So maybe that's could be something there.
You almost gotta take interest in others when you're a teacher. You gotta take more interest in others,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's literally his job, right? So he's like, no, you guys did good. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
He gives us a paper with like a B-.
That just grades all the other performers.
Yeah. Hell yeah, teach C's get degrees, baby.
Yeah, that's freaking hilarious.
Give me an apple and I'll give you an A.
Shit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask, are you both in Saskatchewan right now? Where are you guys?
Oh, you son of a gun. Okay, I'm in Moose Jaw right now. And then Dusic's out in Momart, Saskatchewan. That's where he was born and raised. What if I just gave like your whole like early life story and you gave mine?
Yeah, do it.
Probably more accurate.
So this boy was born into a farming family in the small town of Momart, Saskatchewan.
Well, you're already wrong. I gotta take over. You're already wrong. I was actually born in PA.
Oh, that makes more
shit.
That makes more sense.
That actually explains a lot of my behavior.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I grew up my whole life in small farming community, Momart, Saskatchewan, about 50 minutes southeast of Regina. And honestly, like I was literally on the farm today, working on the fucking sprayer and shit. Like when I'm not doing rock and roll, I'm a farmer.
Right.
Cool. Did you have rain today?
Yeah, it was honestly, I was just happy it wasn't hot out for once.
Yeah.
And like, and Jesus, the rain came a little fucking late. Like we could have used this 2 weeks ago and actually gave the crops a chance. But whatever, that's neither here nor there.
Well, I was talking to a farmer yesterday.
I'm not a farming guy myself. When he talks about fucking doing this and doing that, I'm like, I'm sorry, mate.
Yeah. Agreed.
I was talking to a farmer yesterday, and I was like, "So how's the crop?" Yeah, it's not that great. We get like 40 bushels an acre, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Yeah,
Like,
I've never heard
what is
be.
normal?
It's in. So I'm almost 40 years old, in a little farming community, and not 1 year do I remember any farmers being like, "Hey, it was a good year. You know, things are going good. It rained when it's supposed to. The rain's never on time. There's never enough, or there's too much, or it's fucking this, or it's that, or it's just like get a new job, man." Like,
Okay,
really.
so actually, the farmer I was talking to yesterday, he said last year was a great year compared to this year.
Right, but I bet you he wasn't saying that shit last year when he was in it. That's what I'm saying. No, like it's never good enough.
Like 75% of farmers hitting shit with a hammer, and the other 25% is bitching and moaning.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
But yeah, so okay. How many are there?
Let them finish their life stories.
Okay. All right.
Oh yeah. I guess
so it all started when I was 6.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I was born and raised in Carmen, Manitoba, which there's literally only one other notable man that you guys might know, and he's Eddie the Eagle Belfour. You guys remember him, the goalie?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah, man. So him and I are the only two.
You won a cup with the Stars, bro.
Yeah, there you go. Hell yeah. And so that's where I was born and raised for the first 18 years. And then I moved out to Weyburn, Saskatchewan, where Dane Von Hagen, the lead singer, is from. And I snuck into the bar. I was underage by about 6-7 months. And I just grew my beard out, fit in real nice, everything like that. I started dating an older girl and just slipped right in like it was nothing. And
in the girl or the bar? Oh.
and
Leave that one unanswered.
That'll
buddy.
be snipped out.
and so she was from Weyburn, and she's like, okay, if you want to play music, like, you know, you've got to meet Dane. I go meet Dane, you know, things go great, and I end up fucking off and having more drinks and blah blah blah, meeting other people as a social butterfly I am. Next day, I message him. I'm like, hey man, let's jam. Go over to his place. He's got a big old bag of weed and a big full box of wine. And we finished so much of that bud, and we finished damn near that whole box of wine and just played outlaw country and fucking Celtic rock music till the cows came home. And so a couple of years after that, Dane and I kind of rekindled our friendship. And I'm like, okay, man, let's do a tour. And he just started with Dead Levee. And so we start doing, we do it kind of like a month before we do a tour, just him and I doing acoustic stuff. I do my solo, he does his solo, and we go up, we do a duo. And we were just testing out all of these venues, seeing which one Dead Levee would be able to play in, early Dead Levee be able to play in. And so, you know, eventually Dead Levee went on a tour with, like, after that, and I just opened up for them, and we ended up going a couple of years, and the bassist just ended up having other interests and needed some time to himself and everything like that. And I was there when the boys kind of needed somebody there. I knew all the songs and everything like that. They just gave me the gig, and the rest has been history, and the future's a mystery. So
no, it was all supposed to play out like that. Like, none of what we're doing, none of how we sound, none of what we've accomplished would have been possible without him. And like, of course, it's always tough kind of saying goodbye to a good friend. Like, I grew up really closely with the old bassist, and but he had hit a bit of a rough patch, and I think it was even for his own best interest to not be living this lifestyle anymore. And so it just I think it worked out best for both sides, even though there might still be some tough blood there, but that is still what I believe for sure. And
are you still in touch with him or no?
Vaguely.
Like, I mean, like, if it's his birthday and all that kind of stuff, you know, give him a text message or a message,
right.
Or if I see that he's got, you know, some kind of milestone or accomplishment, I'll say, you know, hey man, congrats, like, miss ya. Let's go grab a coffee sometime. But you know how that goes, right? Like, I mean,
For sure.
It's just like anybody, man. Like, I mean, if they don't reach out to, if you don't reach out to them, they're not going to reach out to you. You know what I mean? That, like I said, being from Manitoba, it's like the only time I ever hear from my, you know, old best friends is if I, you know, shoot them a message. And that's just, you know, growing up and shit like that too.
I can totally relate to that, brother. I get that too. The people, like, your best friends in high school and shit, like 20 years after high school, like, you're not going to be with those same people. Like, it's just not going to be. Everyone kind of drifts away and has their own families and their own lives to live, and
their own journey, their own adventures. Yeah, of course.
Well, we're in that interesting mid-20s age where everyone our age is either married with kids or being filthy degenerates like we are.
Right.
Like, we at least have a fun purpose behind ours. So and so there's kind of this limbo around this age, being like, well, shit, you know, like, and then there's some of my best childhood friends that I don't connect too much, and they're a mile away from where I am right now. Like, I could almost hit them with a rock from here, and you know, you're just living your lives. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. So
right, yeah. That's exactly it. It's just how it is, how it always has been, and how it always will be, right?
Yeah,
Exactly. And again, like, I mean, my family is only 5-6 hours away, but it's like being 5-6 hours away, it's like I still only see them, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 times a year.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
it's a small price to pay, because at this age, it's like, all right, man, you got to risk it all to get the biscuit. So like, just like put every bit of energy you can into it while you can, and then, reap the rewards later.
That's right.
Yep.
And if you don't, at least you can say you gave it that honest shot.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, my parents had gotten pregnant with me when they were just 18, 19 years old. And, I look back now, and I'm 25 years old. I'm like, shit, like, if my mom and dad never woulda, it's like, what would they have done? My dad was a really good football player, and just a couple weeks before he found out that my mom was pregnant, he got a couple letters to go and try out for the Blue Bombers. You know what I mean? It's like shit like that. My dad wanted to be a rodeo clown, for Christ's sakes.
Right.
And if you met my dad, you'd be like, Bobby, you son of a bitch, that totally would have been your calling.
That was it. That was the calling, right?
Yeah, but I look back now, and it's like I've got no kids. My biggest worry is making sure that we don't go a month more without a fucking gig,
Right. So, okay, on that note, like, now that pandemic's the pandemic isn't over, but let's call it lockdown's not there right now.
It's lifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then throughout this, how did you guys manage? Like you're saying, go a month without a gig. Like, were you able to do that? Were you doing the online things, or what were you guys doing?
Which one thing I think we did better than most is like, and we kind of jokingly call it war profiteering, is and through our connection with Leon and stuff, we did a lot of writing and networking and recording with people we never would have been able to link up with because they would have been too damn busy.
Right.
Like we were doing songwriting with John from Monster Truck. We wouldn't have got in with Garth over in BC this spring. Leon would have been way more swamped. He wouldn't have been hooking us up with these things. As well as coming off of that last tour, we were we lived a rough, low lifestyle on that tour, and we were even becoming our band dynamic, and our friendship was even getting to the point of being strained. It's a lot to do that, and I think without, obviously I didn't want the break to be that long, but I think we for sure needed some break, because it would even just maintain our basic dynamic. And
right.
And so obviously it went a lot longer than any of us would have wanted, given. But we managed, on top of all that, we had one of our biggest crowds ever last summer at a drive-in show in Weyburn. It was probably almost 1,000 people. Like,
really?
Sweet.
Wow.
And
everybody pulled up to their cars.
We sold a drive-in show, which was cool. And we did a couple of and then other than that, what else did we do? We did a couple streams.
A couple live streams, there was a moment last September where it looked like the pandemic was starting to lift a little bit.
Right.
We kept getting a show in Winnipeg last year, actually. Almost a year to the date. We played September 12th last year, and we're playing September 11th this year.
Oh wow.
And it's like you get like, you got like little pockets like that where you got to slip in, but for the most part it was just take your time, heal all those fucking demons that are inside of you that we all saw it during tour. Everybody's demons came out, because after doing 7 shows, 8 shows in a row, you're like, Jesus Christ, like I am fully transparent at this point, and I am not feeling very good.
Yeah, I hear
and but like, we had those shows in those pockets, and we had a lot of time to like I said, lick our wounds, kind of get our heads back in the right pocket, in the right direction, and did a lot of songwriting and a lot of DIY recording and stuff like that, to kind of just open up our music minds a little bit, instead of just doing the writing. It's like, okay, let's do some sound stuff. Let's fuck with some EQs and see what kind of sounds we can get. And I know that we all worked a little bit here over, and we got some new gear, and we got all that kind of stuff. You didn't spend all the money touring out to buttfuck nowhere, Alberta, and
Right.
getting
In
paid
strip clubs.
getting paid in fucking a hotel room and an onion ring platter for crying out loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was strip clubs on tour, yes. That happened.
I was telling them about Montreal a little bit. I didn't tell them how we got robbed, though. I didn't tell them how we got robbed.
In Montreal?
Yeah, I got to go to the washroom. You tell them real quick. There,
Okay.
dude.
Yeah, you know, go piss. So we went to Montreal, like we never played Montreal, but we had to stop there. Like there was 2 times that we stopped there, like to just stay the night. And we're like, well, let's party. We're in a kick-ass city. Let's go hit a strip club or something.
Right.
So we go to the strip club, and Ray, the other guitarist, has this leather jacket that's basically his home, and it's got pockets everywhere and shit. And he'd always keep this envelope of like the band money, like you know, the band cash was always in his jacket. And we go and he puts his coat through coat check. And when we came out, that envelope was no longer there. Like they obviously ransacked his coat during coat check.
What?
Which hindsight was pretty stupid on our behalf. Like it was
Yeah,
super
but I mean-
like we could have at least pissed all that money, all that cash away on the strippers, you know, like
Well, yeah.
robbed the coat check.
Not on fucking coat check, yeah.
Man, we could have at least had the experience instead of just getting robbed like chumps.
Right. Well, yeah, because then it's just a big he said, she said thing, right? Like, oh, you took
the-
the money, and it's
the-
like, oh no, I didn't. Well, fuck.
There was nothing to even do. Like, what are we gonna go do? Go back in there and get the shit beat out of us by bouncers? Like, there was
Right.
no
Yeah.
play. We just had to move on. Like, oh, he didn't have all the band cash, so it was like it was a few $100. Like, it was
Right.
I think it was like $300 or something.
It was still a piss off, of course. It's like, fuck, we
Yeah.
got robbed by a bunch of French strippers at it, like in a snowstorm.
Well, like, and French people seem to like robbing from us. Like, man, this French hobo just stole our van recently.
Yeah, okay. So we were where were we playing? We were playing
G Fest. We were playing
right,
G
we played
Fest.
G-Fest up by
Right, I was going to ask about that. Yeah.
Is that the one like recently with
Yeah.
the Econoline Crush?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh fuck, man! I was at Candle Lake that weekend.
Which is
Oh, it
like
was right
20
there.
minutes away.
I know, I was right there, dude.
If you were there, man, the show would have been completely different, man.
Fuck.
You
That would've
fucking
made it,
I would've
bro.
stole
What
your
the
van.
hell, man?
so we had buddy Braden King, who is a bit of a country rock artist a little bit. He's doing a solo thing now. Anyway, so we had him. We were like, okay, man, just drive the van to Regina. All the boys are in Regina. And once you get to Regina, you know, we'll switch off, blah, 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 blah. So he's driving, and there's like this like spring for the accelerator. So it pushes it back once you push your foot down on it, right?
basically the throttle cable's stuck. And he had to park it in Indian Head, is what happened.
Yes. So he parked it in Indian Head at a Tim Hortons, and we were like, okay, band mechanic, ring, 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 ring. Can you come pick it up and see what's wrong with it, fix it up, just get it to Weyburn or get it to one of the places where one of the bandmates live. Okay, yes, if I can't do it, I'll send you a message. But he didn't send us a message. So we get a Instagram message about.
It was only a couple of days time. Don't be too hard on him. Like, you know, like
It was over a weekend, and he said he was going to pick it up. I'm going to put a little bit on him. I mean, it was on us
it's
for
a teensy bit. I don't like putting too much on him. Like we did leave our van in a sketchy spot.
Anyways, so I get home on that Sunday, fucking hungover, congested, the whole fucking bit, and then we get a notification on Instagram, and it's one of our fans saying, "Oh, I found you guys' van," and I'm like, where was this picture taken? Like this picture doesn't look like a Tim Hortons parking lot. Where is this fucking van? And so I give Buddy a call, and he's like, "Oh no, it's in Swift Current at the Houston Pizza." And I'm like, "Oh my fucking God." I'm like, "Okay, like I'm gonna call the RCMP. Like, can you, like, do you know if the guy is anywhere and anything like that?" Yeah, I see one of the guys that came out of it. He's going back to the van right now. I'm like, "Okay, keep your eye on him. I'm calling the RCMP. I'll call you right back." Call the RCMP. RCMP rolls up, and this guy is just like he's just pleading the fifth, saying I don't know anything. I was just in the van with this guy. He has the keys. Blah blah blah.
With the story was that this guy, and we ended up we got his name and we ended up looking him up on Facebook, and his Facebook title as his job is professional hitchhiker. Not sketchy.
Not sketchy at all.
Not even a little sketchy. Yeah.
So his story was to the cops. So imagine this. So this guy's caught dead to rights with a stolen vehicle, in the fucking stolen vehicle, and he tells the cops that he was picked up by this guy who was driving this van and looked like a rock star. Obviously looked us up because it says at Dead Levee on the fucking side of it. And just and the cops believed him. He got away with it. The cops did nothing. They just let him go.
Are you serious?
They let him go. That's like standing over a murder victim with the bloody knife. And then letting him go.
And say, I didn't do it. The knife was here.
Yeah, someone handed me the knife. I don't know.
Man.
Fucking hell. If the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit, right? Bullshit, man. I'm pissed about that. That guy stole our van and just got away with it. He's probably out fucking stealing someone else's van now.
And he spent $140 on fucking fuel. We'll never see that again.
So wait, what about the fucking gas pedal? The throttle cable?
It must have been working for him.
So
no doubt, right? Or maybe he just couldn't stop.
That's the thing that I was
That's
thinking.
why he stopped and switched.
I was like, this son of a bitch must have been going 140 from Indian Head all the way to fucking Swift.
Just fired it up and
because that is a peel out. So the thing does this once you hit 120.
If it's able to go 120 that day.
So I end up getting the phone number of where the lot is that I can go pick up our van, go in there, and they're all just sweethearts. They're like, oh, we love your van. We love how 70s it looks. It's got velour on the inside. It's literally if you were in 1967 and you took first class on a plane, that's kind of what it's like on the inside,
nice.
right? You got the blinds, the velour blinds to cover the windows, so on and so forth. And so I go and I'm like, I started up and this thing just instantly oh no. And so I turn it off and one of the shop guys comes out and he's like, hey man, we've been talking about your van a lot since it showed up. And I'm like, yeah, that's what the desk lady's been saying. He's like, so what's wrong with it? I'm like, well, the fucking spring, there's a lock on it and the fucking lock is plastic. It keeps on breaking and then the spring doesn't come back in and it just keeps the fucking accelerator down. So we're looking in it and everything like that. And it's hotter than a son of a bitch outside too. And so we're looking and, we see a little hole in a mount spot. And we're like, we could probably just throw a fucking zip tie on this thing. So we throw a zip tie on it. And the thing has literally, I haven't changed the part. It's just been working better.
It's still the same zip tie?
It's still the same zip tie. And this thing got us, this thing did about fucking 12 hours of driving this weekend.
Oh, that's sweet, man.
That's awesome.
All you need is just keep a spare zip tie in the glove box, just in case, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. But dude, one thing that's hurting us from this event is, because obviously this fucking French hobo had this thing pinned all the way to fucking Swift, transmission slipping and is not doing so great anymore.
Right.
So fucking hell, and get away with it.
Dude, it's like your equipment stolen and broken and then maybe get, $1,500 for the damn thing. It's like, no, this thing is worth more than $1,500 dead on the side of the road with at Dead Levee on the fucking side than it is at, writing it off.
Dude, we should start a GoFundMe for the van.
Yeah, and get you a new transmission.
We've already played that card. We can't do that again.
You can only do it so many times,
but before eBay can get sad.
Yeah, so we when we were on our East Coast tour, our brakes started to go early on in the tour. And so we take it into Ray, the lead guitar player, his girlfriend's dad, who we were staying with in London, Ontario for a couple days, took it into his mechanic. we get like the whole lowdown of it. He shows us the whole brake system. He's like, you know, this thing hasn't been changed since '89 when it was put out of the factory. And we're like, oh my goodness. Like, it's just like, you could see it. Like, everything was seized up. We were about 5 or 6 stops away from not being able to fucking stop. So this guy saved our ass along with about, 60 or 70 pledgers and donators
in 24 hours, we got $2,200 to fix this thing, and to change the entire brake infrastructure. And it was like rear and front and it was old timey brakes that like pumped, right?
Right.
Like, and so there's a lot to change when the whole fucking thing goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it cost about $2,200, and we got it in 24 hours. People just banded together and fucking got us home. Well,
Nice.
got us a PEI and then home.
We were all so bloody grateful for our fans, man. Like, we have some of the best fans, I think, in the world. They've shown more than enough support, and like I said, we are so fucking grateful for it.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
we should get a freaking Funky Moose van. Why don't we have one? A shuttle.
Just the two of you guys could get away with a hatchback with a cool paint job.
Yeah, well, we already have that, but we need a van. Well, what do we need a van for?
I don't know.
Because vans are fucking deadly,
you guys
bro.
could do-
Yeah, I
guys
want an
could do,
old
like,
retro
live-
van now.
Yeah,
This is how this band sounds so kick-ass. I want one.
You guys could do like a live on location thing. You know what I mean? Like, you could go to different companies and have them like different restaurants or different pubs or different companies, and have them kind of like be like the sponsor of the podcast. You know what I mean?
We actually talked about getting a van to pick up collections of records.
That's cool as hell.
We've
Oh, yeah.
used a U-Haul a couple times, and then it was almost like, should we just get like something for like of our own? But
Yeah, and then it's always like get something cheap, and then you have to keep fixing it. But you get something new, it's
Yeah.
expensive. It's
and then
worth
for
it.
how frequent you're buying a big haul, like is it
Yeah.
worth the purchase, or just spend a few $100 on a U-Haul?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the real fucking question.
No, like it cost effectiveness. It doesn't for you guys doesn't as cool as the fucking vans are.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
we had it all worked out.
Our
We had it
van,
all worked out.
our van costs like $180 to fill up, and we got to fill it up every 600 kilometers. And got 2 tanks in it.
600, man. I wish you'd made 600. Jesus.
That's by myself going to pick up all you fucking idiots.
Yeah, without the gear and people and with the tailwind.
That's if the tranny don't slip and fucking hit that high idle for a while.
Yeah, you kind of gotta there's an art to driving her.
Yeah, you gotta do a little bit forgiving and a little bit of pushing.
Yeah, you can't pussyfoot into the higher gears or she won't go.
She
With
won't
the
go.
low gears, you gotta be kind. You gotta be gentle. You gotta get her warmed up. You gotta moisten
That's
the
right.
machine. You know.
It's
I love
like,
it.
Yeah. It's like a mum.
But then when it's go time, it's time to fuck. You know.
Bingo.
Yes, that's
Uh,
hilarious.
Does she have a name, the van?
Stinky Senior.
Stinky Senior.
So our first van, Stinky, original Stinky, she followed us around on the first tour, like I said, when Dane and I were doing our acoustic stuff, and it was just fucking packed to the nines. You couldn't squeeze a fucking piece of paper in there if you fucking pushed on it. And and this thing, did so many miles for us, and it helped us out so much. And one night Dane was driving back from a studio session and ended up fucking totaling the thing off by nailing a deer. And so we figured we pay respect to her by naming the new van after her. I felt it was only the right thing to do, and I believe that Stinky original there, she's looking down on us now, and she's very proud.
And fun story, why the other one was called Stinky Original was called Stinky was because this was back during Dane's previous musical enterprises, and he was using it, and for some fucking reason he got a bunch of frozen meat or something from dad. I don't know, however he got this bunch of frozen meat.
Well, his dad is a well-known taxidermist, right? So he he always has like a freezer full of fucking meat. And so whenever we're on tour,
sausage and shit. Yeah.
would pack a
And
freezer full of fucking meat. Anyways, keep going.
And so whatever reason, Dane had this fucking van full of meat, and he left it parked somewhere for a couple days, and like kind of forgot about it. And we went back, you know, it was a bunch of melted bloody meat in the back.
Oh my god.
That stunk quite horrifically. I heard.
I remember we had, so at the place where I worked at the time, for Christmas time, we always got a coupon to get a turkey from a grocery store, like as a gift. So I picked up a turkey, put it in the freezer downstairs, and then Christmas rolled around. We got another turkey. So we had 2 turkeys, made one. The other one was still in the freezer. So after Christmas, I was either my wife or me. We never figured out what
Who was
happened.
the culprit?
Yeah. So we rummaged around in the.
It was her. It was her. You just took.
No. Even if it was her, you say it was you. You're
Yes,
smart.
exactly.
That's right. It was me. So we put this. One of us puts this turkey on the side, and start finding what we needed to find, close, and
took off.
Yeah. So then I don't know. A few days later, come back downstairs. What the fuck? Why does it smell here? So at first I thought, maybe a dead mouse or whatever. But that's really nasty. So then we started walking around, and all of a sudden, oh my god, there's the turkey. Fuck.
From 2 days ago.
From like a week ago.
Oh.
It did not. Oh my god. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So we got rid of that, and that stunk for another 2 weeks down there.
Yeah, no, that shit's rancid, man. That shit hangs there. It's lingering.
Yeah.
The smell of putrid death is something you don't ever forget.
Yeah. I can still smell it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'll never forget that.
No.
It's burnt into your brain.
Yeah.
So nor will you ever leave a turkey out again.
Yeah,
No.
right?
No.
That's the best. That's the
turkey.
best part about a major fuck up is odds are you're not gonna do that fuck up
Yeah.
again.
Make sure you put the turkey back.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about how many times I've done the same fuck up over and over and over again and never learned my lesson. So I don't know if I can agree with that one. I've done some shady shit repetitively.
But I mean, there's always a special kind of special.
Yeah, I'm a special kind of special. That's
Man, you're not that special, bro. My bones still hurt from the weekend. So,
This guy was
and you think
acting-
I'd learn by now?
This guy was
All right.
acting. This guy was acting like he was 19 on the weekend, man. It was fucking hilarious.
I went particularly hard at the Charlappa Festival. It was exciting.
Is that was where was that one?
That was out at Trapping Lake Park.
All right.
Yeah,
So it's kind of in the bigger, it's like a half hour west of Bigger.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
And there's usually a big badass festival. Like last summer we were slotted to open for the Trues, and then COVID. But
Yeah.
and so they did just a smaller version of it this year. Like what they call it, like Charlappa 4.5 kind of,
Yeah.
and they had us headline, and then there was a rave afterwards, and then so during the rave I got super loose, and I'm still recovering.
Holy smokes.
But
So
no,
how was Jeep Fest?
Jeep Fest was cool, man. I mean, it was an experience to say the least. It was hotter than hell that weekend.
Jeep Fest is a bit of a tragedy. Like, the event could have been so fucking badass. They did such a good job organizing it, this and that. They had good ticket pre-sales. They had mud bogs. They had big acts. They had good sound.
Yeah, like they had Jack Davidson and Econoline Crush as like the two.
Yeah.
And it's like both of those guys like are pretty. They have a decent amount of notoriety on them.
Yeah, like serious veterans, and the turnout just wasn't there. Like we ended up playing to the largest crowd of the night. And it was, there was a bit of a beer gardens and stuff, but it wasn't what it could have been. It could have been so fucking gnarly, and it was. Yeah, I think the story of Jeep Fest is pretty tragic to me because and there won't be another one because it went tits up, and hell, I honestly believe it could have been such a rad festival that could have budded that didn't survive its first take, And
Was that the
it's-
first? Was that
It
the
was
first
the
move?
first.
Oh.
It was the first, and so that's why I said it's like not every first one's gonna be a fucking grand slam, right? But luckily, you guys had a solid fucking pan out.
We're definitely pleased with how it, it's one of those things where it can always be better. Of course it can, right?
Yeah.
So, but I still chalk it up as a success. Like without
For
a
sure.
doubt, man. It was like the fucking gnarliest night I've had
In a long time.
in like over a decade.
Oh, yeah.
man. It was fucking so much fun.
Yeah.
So
I
much
love
fun
that.
that I just want to do it
Who,
again.
who played Moose Fest? I don't know anything about this.
We had 7
Mile
Mile Sun opened up, and then we had League of Wolves were like the middle band, and
I think I've
the
heard
Steadies
them.
closed it.
Okay, right on.
So
Right on.
like the lead guitar for League of Wolves is Liat Hansen. Do you guys know who Liat Hansen is?
The name sounds familiar. Yeah,
so
like
I'm
I
not sure.
know League of Wolves. I know League of Wolves. Like I've
Yeah.
heard.
Weren't they playing in Regina like last winter or something? Like, or not the winter before? Like, I remember
Probably.
vaguely.
Possible.
Could very well be. Well, Liat was like the original lead guitar for the Sheepdogs. Like when the Sheepdogs made the
cool.
Rolling
Right.
Stone cover, like Liat was part of the Sheepdogs.
Dane
So-
Dane knows Liat. Dane knows Liat. That's where I've heard the name from. That's why
Right,
we
okay.
have that signed. That's why we have that signed Sheepdogs that CD that's just dangling around in our fucking.
I was wondering where that came from.
Yeah,
So there was that band, and then the Steadies, the lead singer for the Steadies is Earl Pereira, and he was the original bass player for Wide Mouth Mason.
Oh,
when
So
they
there's there is a bit of star power to both those groups then.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure, yeah, definitely. And then 7 Mile Sun is like new up and coming 3-piece out of Harris, Saskatchewan. They're on the radio and they're playing the Coors Event Center September 27th. Like they're gonna be huge, man. I saw them twice this year already. They fucking blew my mind both times.
Yeah.
Like fuck, like I'm ride or die for those guys. They're gonna be huge without a doubt.
And great people too. Like
Yeah.
not just
Yeah,
bad,
like
but they're-
awesome people, just
Yeah.
typical Saskatchewan small town people. Like I love it.
yeah. Like
And,
I was gonna say, like they ride that very fine line between prairie country and prairie rock. And isn't there a female that's in the band as well?
There's 2 of them. So the
Two of
lead
them, that's
singer
right.
and the drummer are brother
Right,
and sister. Yeah, they're brother sister, and then the bass player is from the same town. I think she like runs the store there or some shit
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
That's
Yeah.
rad, man. That's
that's why
sick.
she had to go back. She had to
Righteous.
open the store.
She had to work the next
Yeah.
day. Yeah, freaking right. But yeah, they kicked so much ass. I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, so the joke not the joke, but what was awesome that night was it was the same night as Jazz Fest in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
And Jazz Fest had the Sheepdogs and Wide Mouth Mason the same night that we had League of Wolves and the Steadies in Bellevue. So the joke was kind of like,
Earl said it on stage.
he did, but we were
You're
saying
like
it
the
like,
sister. You're like the sister fest.
yeah, but we were also like, it's not the same because it's not the original lineup and stuff. So like Moose Fest was just better than Jazz Fest.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fucking
Yeah,
guys.
so the reason I see why Jeep Fest went belly up, I think, is because they went too big too fast.
Well, no promo neither.
Yeah.
I saw one flyer when we bought tickets for
Yeah.
that fucking
Yeah, that was the
Jeep.
only
That's
thing
the
I
only
heard about
time
it.
I heard of it.
Which
I didn't
that,
hear-
that seems ridiculous because like I was talking to the organizer, he's really such a nice guy. James was like, his whole goal was to take care of the bands, and I think he spent too much on that, obviously.
Yeah.
But he claimed there was 20 grand in advertising done.
So
Yeah, man,
here's
like there was radio ads that were put out and everything like
In
that. Like, I don't
PA.
know how
I think a lot of it
frequent-
was in PA.
right.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing with radio ads is radio will sell you like they'll try and make it sound like a sweet deal, right? They'll be like, oh, we'll give you $20,000 of radio advertising for the month of fucking July or whatever. Well, what does that mean? Right? You'll get what 2 minutes of plug time every second day for a month
At
for
2
like
a.m.?
20 grand worth. Like, do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
They set the pricing.
that's just it. They set the price. So they'll be like, oh, we'll give you $20,000 of advertising. Well, what does that mean exactly? Like,
Yeah.
is that an ad a day for a week, or what are you talking about? And it's whatever they decide it to be. So
Yeah, of course.
not saying that he didn't get 20 grand worth of advertising. I'm just saying that maybe,
No, for sure. That
You know?
that would make a lot of sense, actually.
right? So
And things like billboards are the
that's
same
true
way.
too. Like you know those electronic billboards in the cities that you see? Like, fuck man,
Yeah.
for like $4 grand, you'll get 7 seconds of advertising every 6 hours for like a month for like $4,000 or whatever. Like
Okay,
that just
you got the numbers.
That's
way
bullshit.
way
mixed
off.
up.
But it's like the concept. Well, what are the numbers then?
It's like $600 for a month, and you have no $600 for 2 weeks, and you get like every, what is it, 60 seconds your ad shows for 6 seconds, something like that.
For
Oh,
$600.
well, that's actually
But-
not that bad.
That's
No,
not half bad.
yeah.
But nonetheless,
But it-
nonetheless, radio ads were.
Yeah,
radio
that's
ads,
right. 20
radio-
grand of radio ads.
Well, I mean, regardless where the money was put, it was
That's right.
obviously put in
It
the
doesn't
wrong
matter.
place.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Or yeah, they could have been budgeted differently.
we shouldn't get into money, but
Well, we spent money on advertising, but I just think we didn't like throw all our money at advertising.
it was also because it was pretty. It wasn't last minute, but we didn't have a lot. Like we didn't have
And I'm
a
famous,
whole
so
year.
I just told fucking everyone.
That's right. But we didn't have a full year of promoing to do. You know, it was like in June or something that we decided that okay, this is gonna happen.
Yeah, it was like the second last week of June
Yeah, so we had a month and a half, give or take,
to plan it.
to get it all done. And
And we did it strategically too. It wasn't like we didn't just fucking come everywhere right away. We like periodically
Yeah.
sprayed a little bit. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
sprinkled it.
a little bit of sprinkle there.
But yeah,
And
no, it was
enjoy-
awesome, man. And then we have a better idea of what to do for next year and how to like just keep that pace going. the
Yeah, we
flow, right?
purposely kept it small this year to get our toes wet and make sure that we know what we're doing for next year.
Build
I
a
mean,
bit
next
of a
year.
reputation on it. and-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Every year we'll go a little bit bigger, a little bit better, a little bit longer, that kind of thing.
Well, that's
is
just
the
like
idea.
touring. That's just like touring, right? Like if like I said, like if you're going into a city that you've never played before, you're gonna have to cut your teeth on this one, boys. Like there might be 5 people. We might be lucky, and there might be 150. But
Yep.
you know, odds are no one's really heard of Dead Levee. You just got to make a fucking splash as much as you can in these
Right.
towns, in these cities, so that when you come back, everybody and their fucking dog is like, hey, you got to check out these idiots. They fucking play crazy rock and roll and do upside down guitar solos and all that kind of shit, you know?
I saw that picture, man. That looked wicked.
I
Oh,
didn't see
yeah.
that.
Who was upside down?
That's
So
Ray.
it was Ray, our lead guitar player. He
Yeah.
he
And who
hangs
was
off
holding him
of
up?
Dane- He hangs off of Dane, the lead singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
That
just it's one of those moves that like once I came into the band, it kind of like really started to take like a big step forward. All the choreography,
We perfected it
like
then.
that. Yeah, exactly. We
Choreography.
perfected it then, and it was like we had a mount, dismount. You know, like we have like flips and shit that we do where it's like, you know, Dusick or Buck there, he'll be like leaning over playing his guitar, and I'll just come up with my bass and I'll just like flip over top of him, and you know, like we just like try to be as entertaining as possible. Never
Right.
want to have anybody take their eyes or ears off the stage while we're on
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
35
So,
to 70.
How many are there in the group? Like when you guys are playing on stage, how many is there? 5 altogether.
5 altogether. So we got Miami Lightning or Preston Lastchuck on the drums. We got Sweet Baby Ray Klapchuk on the lead guitar. We got Remington, Dane Von Hagen on lead vocals, frontman. Then we got Buck, who he plays slide guitar and rhythm guitar. And then I play Izzy licks. I play bass and do backup vocals.
And do
Fucking A.
gnarly tricks on stage.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's so much fun being on stage with like 4 of your closest friends, and you know that they're just having as much fucking fun as you are. And then when the crowd gets into it, it's just like it's like pouring fuel on a fire, man.
Which we've always joked that our speciality is we'll play an arena rock show to an empty room. So when they're when there is energy coming back, holy Christ, watch out.
Right. Yeah.
That's a good attitude to have.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's like you know, we do all these stage antics whether we're playing in front of a handful of people or fucking 12 dozen people. You know what I mean? Like,
or it's rehearsal.
or even at practice. Yeah, exactly.
We just love ripping, man.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Is like none of us can keep still when we're at practice. It's like every time we pick up an instrument and we're all together, it's just straight up pandemonium. It's like we're playing a show. It's great. The camaraderie we have in this band, the chemistry we have in this band is unbeatable, I think.
That's cool.
Hell yeah. So, okay, then is there an album coming out or did one just get released?
No,
So go ahead.
we have basically we went out to Garth Richardson's and we tracked 3 songs.
Okay.
And with the intention of doing an EP. But now things have sort of changed, and basically we're more or less just winding up the money to go back and do a full record, like, you know, maybe 8-9 songs.
Okay.
Right.
And so we're still in the midst of getting these current songs, the last final tweaks done on them, maybe some changes to some versing, some minor tweaks.
We'll be
but
releasing-
before we
We'll be
before
releasing
we
singles very soon, very, very soon.
yeah, like I would probably say, you know, I honestly have no bloody timeline on when things are being released. Like we're waiting on a few variables in terms of a bit of dough to finish them, and a bit of dough to go back for the whole record. But we've got one song out of the 3 that we did that is for sure our single that we'll be pushing. So as soon as that is finished, it will be going out. And
Nice.
It's hard to like, like we're pretty sure we'll get it finished by the end of this year, for hopefully being released and marketed early next year. And I think that's a realistic timeline, and sooner would be lovely, but we'll see.
Right. Freaking rights though, man. I'm fired up about it. Now, what about live, like gigging? Like you said, you don't want to go a month without a gig, for sure. Rightfully so. And we know you've got one up coming September 11th, right?
Yes.
In Winnipeg, right? Is that where that's at?
That's right.
And we have the 25th in Edmonton at the Starlight.
Yeah, we have September 25th at the Starlight with a band called Sparrow Blue. They played a couple.
And they're pretty rad.
And, yeah, they're rock and roll. And then so we have about 2 weeks off here this month. My grandpa is getting married, and then Dane's dad is getting married the following week. And then we got Lethbridge and Calgary on the, I believe it's 27th, 28th.
Oh, I love doing Calgary.
Calgary's
The Blind
so
Beggar.
much fun.
Yeah, we kick ass with the Blind Beggar. I love that shit.
Hang on, are you playing those weddings too?
No.
I got to play. I got asked to play Canon in D. You know what that one is?
Oh yeah.
And it's like the whole like right, like
it's the wedding song that's not da 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 da.
Yeah.
It's the other one.
It's the other one. So I got asked to do that. So that's the only show I've got here in the next couple of weeks. But
I'll be on the combine.
my grandpa likes CCR, so maybe I'll play some CCR for him. Not in the middle of the wedding though.
Oh no!
That'd be dope.
As your grandpa walks down the aisle, you drop a bad moon on him.
Yeah. I see, oh bam! The curtain drops behind me. The whole band's there.
That would be kick ass.
Oh, I want to see that video if that happens.
Hey, shout out to your grandpa, man. For how old is your grandpa?
I would say he's going into his 70s. This is his 3rd marriage. Which,
well, and he only intends on getting married 2 more times after this.
you know, that's what the word on the street is.
That's awesome.
But no, he I think I think he finally found the one. She seems pretty cool. I hope he
Yeah,
found
right?
the one. I hope
Man,
he found
that's
the one. No,
awesome. Way to
she's
go,
cool,
Grandpa.
she's cool as hell, and Dane's dad, his woman there, she's a beauty as well.
Sweet.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
on.
but like as for like release music, we what was that, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we released live at Studio One, which Studio One was the CBC studios in Regina.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where like the Dead South started doing their first early stuff, and same with what's that country artist, Walter Wall.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
and Blake Berglund.
And Blake Berglund. And so we went in there and recorded you know, a bunch of songs, and they just ended up not being like, we spent too much money on the studio and not enough money on a good producer. And so
we learned a tough lesson. We learned not to work with people, not rooms, and we were paying for a room.
yeah.
But
Gotcha.
in terms of, and you know, yeah, and we were able to scrap out, like, because we were doing live off the floor stuff, and you know, and we definitely learned a tough lesson that's this day and age, that's a very tall order.
Yeah,
but
so
like
I've been told,
we were able to scrape out a couple pretty good tracks, like a couple pretty good live tracks that are fun, and yeah, we learned a tough lesson, more or less. And but one thing I take from that was, it was a huge creative spark for us, was that Studio One time. We spent a winter just writing and recording, really, for the first time, like full time, and it sent us into really the direction that we're heading now, like compared to the first bit of music we had released. And so yeah, we came out better for it, but we didn't come out with very much product.
Gotcha.
yeah, and you know, a lot of the creative spark happened because, you know, we had, of course, we were playing on $500,000 pianos and working on, you know, $750,000 mixers and stuff like that. But I think the ultimate creative spark was the spark that legalization gave us.
Oh yeah, it was right.
It just like it completely broadened our horizons.
Yeah, we had this little garage that we were renting in Regina to jam and write in, like to do all of our pre-pro in. And Jesus Christ, like we entered that room basically the day of legalization, and yeah, like I don't know, like I'm the corners are still a little fuzzed from that time in my life.
Wow, that's deadly.
Yeah, but like there's 3 songs, I believe 3 songs that came out from live at Studio One. We got Can't Go Home, Make It Mine, and Good Life. Can't Go Home is how would you explain Can't Go Home? It's kind of a rock
It's
and
an
roll
epic power ballad, mate.
It's
Like
a power
it has
ballad.
it half the song's an epic solo.
Yeah, it's true. There's like a 2-minute solo in the song, pretty much.
Honestly, I'm not even too worried about that stuff. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward at the stuff we did now. Like if we finally have the production. We finally have the proper pre-production and producers, and it's all there now. When it
Gotcha.
wasn't, everything else we've done prior, it wasn't all there. And I'm excited, and I don't feel like anything that we have, you know, I don't feel like any of it really truly accurately represents what we are now, like, and what we're capable of, and what we're doing, and what we're going to be doing.
right.
And so like that was the hardest part. That was the hardest part, is when we were gonna, like, we spent a fair amount of money on the 3 songs that we did with Garth. But the thing is, we were really adamant on, okay, we need to find a guy who is going to take our live show and be able to make it into an MP3 file, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean,
Right.
and make it into a record. And you know, the first producer that Dane and I said that we wanted was Garth Richardson. And Leon, our uncle Leon, reached out and he said, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. Let's hear the songs, what songs we want. went out there, pumped them out, and I am so bloody happy with the songs that happened, and we did it so cool. Like this guy, he's been around the block so much. He like showed so many old school tricks. Like my bass was making a buzz, and so I got earrings, and this guy literally attached a copper wire from my earring to the bass, and it just grounded it. So like there was no buzzing whatsoever. I was like playing my bass, mind you, like with a fucking dangling bass earring. But
Garth is literal rock and roll royalty. Like he was in the room for like Night Moves, Bob Seger and shit. Like he has seen it all, done it all. He was showing us footage of when they tracked like that Rage record, like Killing the Name. Like we saw the footage of them tracking it live in the room, and he did that back in Sound City in LA, but that doesn't matter. We know the room doesn't matter. It's right. Who it is.
That's right. Like,
and we had the blessing. Tell them about the guitar head that we got to use.
Oh, it's the American Woman amp.
What?
Yeah.
I was tracking one of our latest songs. I was doing a slide. I was doing a slide part and on the American Woman amp. It's with the kind of amp is it's a Garnet, and I don't believe they're made anymore. They're from like the 60s and 70s, made in Winnipeg, actually.
What? Holy shit. Well, there you go.
And the sound is fucking beautiful. I ended up just like
cool as hell.
I ended up just noodling on it for like an hour beyond my little session that I had, because I didn't want to like put it down, not because I won't get another chance.
Yeah.
So did you get to record with that, or did it?
Yeah, it's on the track, the track will be called Rise or Rise Up, maybe.
Right. Sweet. Right on, guys. That's fucking dope.
Yeah.
I like it.
Give it a subtitle. American Woman.
American Woman amp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. Is there anything else, like, do you guys that you want to draw attention to specifically for the people watching?
Dusik, do you have anything?
Nothing in particular. We talked about the upcoming songs and the shows, really, right? Like,
yeah. Okay. So anybody listening can follow us on any social media at Dead Levee. That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're on all streaming programs or streaming platforms as well. So just search us up, Dead Levee. Levee is spelled Levee.
Like when the levee breaks, or
like when the levee breaks. It's kind of like the old British version or terminology there. But we've got songs coming up here in the next couple months, and we've got loads of shows. So check us out on any of our socials, and we'll be posting where our shows are. Right now, we have August 27th in Lethbridge at the Slice, which is a great place. We've played at before. It's a pizza parlor mixed with a rock venue, and
it's actually a really badass venue. You wouldn't expect it to be, but it's a badass venue.
It's a badass venue. And then the 28th, we play in Calgary at Blind Bagger Steakhouse, which we played there too, and we've kicked ass there, and it's been a great place. Clayton Bellamy playing there.
September 28th, right?
No, August. Sorry.
August 28th. Sorry, my bad.
August. Yeah. Let me just triple check on that. But so that's what we got going on. We're gonna be keep on writing, keep on rocking, and yeah, if you guys need any information on us, just follow us at Dead Levee.
And yeah, really all I can say is the best way to experience us is a live show. It is, even regardless of whatever we release ever. Come fucking see us. That's like that's our thing.
We take pride in what we do on stage, like
yeah.
Very seriously. And of course, the music we take bloody seriously, but we know that it's that. Rock and roll is more than just the music. It's the characteristics.
It's an experience and a lifestyle, and we'll come out. We'll fucking kick your ass using that experience and lifestyle.
Dude, you mark my words, man. I'm coming. I'm gonna come see you guys live.
I'm gonna hold you to that. If I don't,
I'll fucking slide into your DMs when I'm in the show. I'm gonna be like, dude, I'm fucking coming.
Fucking
I
A,
actually
right?
want to add to that. Can I add to that people that come to your show pre-buy your tickets?
Yes, buy pre-sale tickets, you
Because
guys.
we were
Oh.
stressed out, might be an overstatement, but it wasn't a comfortable position
There was
to
a
be
bit,
in.
definitely a bit of anxiety up until about a week and a half before the event.
Yeah.
Not that we weren't selling tickets, it just wasn't enough, and it was like, holy fuck, we're gonna have to pay out of pocket for this shit, right?
Yeah, and
Not
people
that
are-
was an
people are-
issue.
People
but-
are very impulsive, right? Like people are very impulsive, and everything is very, very stimulating, right? Like I was listening to the Black Crows while I was talking on this interview. Like I don't know why, I just need something overstimulating all the time.
Right.
And you know,
But like I really enjoy your guys' point on the pre-sale tickets. Like, if you want to go out and see a band and support, like especially an up and coming act, buy your shit pre-sale, because that guarantees support for the band.
That's right.
That
100%.
guarantees it, and that goes so much further than the average viewer would even understand. So absolutely, I can get behind that 100%.
amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
definitely.
Cool.
Right on. Now, one more question for you guys.
Yes.
I don't, if this is a no, it's okay too, but is there a way, do you think, where we can close this episode with one of your guys' songs? Like, how do you guys upload your music to, like?
Yeah, we could send you
Send eyes.
Eyes on the Road. We'll play we'll send you Eyes on the Road, and we can
Oh,
have
fuck
that
yeah.
as the fade out. It's a song about it's just a prairie song. It's a prairie rock song, man. Everyone from Saskatchewan, Alberta, Manitoba is like, that's a good homegrown rock song right there.
Sweet.
It's a song that you're singing along to, even if you've never heard it before. It's too easy.
Nice. I love it, guys.
Yeah.
I'll send you my email address through Instagram, and you can send me that track. We'll close this episode with it.
Oh yeah, that sounds fucking awesome.
Anything else? I think we're good, boys.
Part of the family.
You got, oh yeah, I got quoted on the freaking news article about this, and it's actually true. But every episode, I always tell the guests that you guys are part of the Funky Moose family now. So if there's ever anytime, anything you need to promote or anything, reach out to us. We'd love to have you guys back on the show anytime. You are part of the family, man. We're ride or die. So for life, guys.
Hell yeah,
We
ride or die
appreciate
right back,
you
brother.
guys.
We've actually been trying to figure out how to get back to Saskatoon recently. So
yeah.
you will be kept in the loop for sure.
Sweet. Love it.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Love you guys.
Thanks
too.
for hanging
All
out.
right, guys,
Take it
thanks
easy.
for having us.
Keep
Thank
on
you.
rocking and rolling, eh?
See ya.
Right on.
Speeding down the freeway, expecting a change. Driving down the highway. ba da ba da ba da.